And for a more realistic environment, this is what we normally walk into. Typically walk into patients with actual lines on them, from O2, nasal cannula to IV, chest tube. You want to assess the environment properly before you begin to transfer, for example, getting ready to get to a chair. You have a lot of obstructions in the way right now, on top of actual lines coming from the patient. We don't want to dislodge anything, and we don't want to just immediately focus on what we can see right in front of us. So I want to go around to the other side of the bed, check to make sure there's nothing here, and we do have a Foley catheter. So I want to bring everything so we can clear a path for your legs before we make your transfer over to sitting down. So now as we begin to plan ahead for the transfer from the patient laying down in the bed to sitting up, there's nothing here that's obstructing her path to clear her legs off, to come sit up, and there's no chance of any line or tube getting dislodged as well, okay? So when you're ready, we're gonna turn toward your side and then we'll come sit up. Good. Then we'll kick your legs off the bed. Good. So you see that clear pathway, nothing getting in the way, lines are all still going the same direction, and let's push and come sit up. 1, 2, 3. Good job. Now, as she's sitting, we're going to prepare for a bed to chair transfer. What I want to do now is clear the new pathway we're going to be going from the bed to the chair. So I want to get these lines down and move them right back over here. Let me get this IV pole over this way as well. So as you see, all lines and drains going in the same direction with a clear path for where we're going to be heading next. So as we bring the chair here to the edge, lock the chair again. And we now have that in our desired position. So now I can put all my focus back onto the patient. Again, as we prepare for this transfer, I'm now going to readjust the lines and get everything set. We have here IV, a chest tube, and a Foley catheter, as well as this nasal cannula. So one of the first things I can address right now is just this nasal cannula. If you can just picture in your head how this transfer is going to go, it's going to be a stand pivot and then taking steps this way. Looking at this line, it's going in the direction of the patient. If it was a shorter line, it could kink and pull at her neck. If you have a line that allows you to just simply do this motion here and looping the nasal cannula over, do that. It makes it a lot easier as the patient comes this way. This line is no longer in the way. Another thing I want to do is make sure I'm confident in what I'm doing. If I don't feel so, if you don't feel so, there's nothing wrong with asking for help. So if I feel like managing all these lines and the patient may be too much for me, ask for help, which is what I'm going to do now. Hey, could you give me a hand? Thank you. When you get your helper, do your best job to inform them of what's going to happen. So I'm going to get this door over to this chair. If you could assist me a little bit, we're just going to do a stand pivot. I'm going to have you block her knees here. I'm going to be blocking her knee, and we're going to get her over to the chair, okay? Now that I have a second person here, and we're beginning for this transfer, reassess the environment again. I'm going to relocate these lines in the direction that we're going so they're no longer in the way, okay? So one by one, I'm going to take this IV, move it over here. Make sure there's no room for anything being caught, kinked, or dislodged. Take the chest tube, move it here to the side of the chair. And I'm also going to grab the Foley catheter. Also take advantage of these green clips that we have that are hanging on our Foley catheter lines. Hook them up to the patient's gown just to make sure there's less chance of it getting caught or kinked or anything. And some of our chairs have these convenient little hooks here that you can hook the catheter into, okay? So as we begin this transfer, we're going to have all the lines going in one direction as we stand, and we keep them in the visual. So as we stand and make the transfer, there's no way for us to dislodge any of them. Okay, so let me go ahead and get you in position. So with knee blockade here, we as the helpers, we both have our knees on each of the patient's knee. We're going to keep our palms up as we grab the gate belt, and keep one in front and one laterally and posteriorly to the patient. And make sure you're instructing the patient. So on 3, we're just going to rock back and forth, and we'll stand up at the end of the 3 count, okay? Are you ready? Okay. 1, 2, and 3. You okay? All right. We're going to start taking steps towards the chair, okay? Still keeping our knees in front of the patient to block in case of any kind of buckling. All right, you feel the chair behind both knees, behind both legs. Okay, reach back for the chair with your hands and slowly lower yourself down. Good. You feel okay? This two-person transfer we just did is very key, whether you feel confident or secure with yourself doing the transfer. If you have a patient that's been sitting up for quite a while that you feel they may be tired or fatigued, whether you're going to or from the chair, and prevent any kind of buckling or falling, having that second person is definitely beneficial. You guys so much for watching these videos. I know you guys are so busy already, so I'll try to make this last part fast, but still focusing and taking time on it. We don't expect you guys to be experts with transfers just after watching these videos. For any reason at all, if you don't feel confident, you don't feel comfortable, I think you will do better by actually having hands-on practice. Never hesitate to ask any of us, being EP or PT or OTs, for help with transfers, practice with your transfers by any cause or at any time if you feel the need to. Night shift, it may be a little tougher because you don't see us all the time, but in the transition from shift change, if you want to spend some extra time, we'll make ourselves available. We'll make some scheduling changes if we need to demonstrate these transfers. But never hesitate to ask for a second person, never hesitate to ask for help or just practice, because I think the more practice you do, the safer you will be and the safer our patients will be.